Hi there folks. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to begin the process of creating the illusion of a stair wrap from artwork that you've created an ad for. Now in many cases you're going to have to go back to the original file once you do this next set of steps and make adjustments to the artwork or the ad or poster to make it work well on the stairs. But as I said, this is just to get you started so you understand what to expect. So here is the ad that I'm going to be putting onto this set of stairs. And believe it or not, I think that one of the most difficult parts of this project is finding the right set of stairs. And then the second most tricky part is once you have applied your initial ad or design to your stairs, getting clear about how you're going to make changes to the artwork to make it work better on your stair wrap. So I'm going to copy this art. It's going to need to be selected. It is selected, but I'll select it again, and then I will copy it. And next, switching over to my stairs and finding my layers panel. Let's go ahead and move my layers panel over, and I will paste, and I will just now scale this artwork. So that's edit and going to be transform scale. And then once I scale it, I'm going to be thinking about fitting it on this first set of stairs from this bottom edge of the second stair up to the last gray colored stair here. So I'm resizing the artwork so it fits within that area. And you can see it's getting kind of narrow, probably not so great there. And proportionally, I may need to do some more adjustments to this. So I'm going to let it be a little bit bigger and hit return. And then I'm going to switch to edit, transform, and I'm going to use perspective, the perspective tool, to resize and adjust this artwork so it fits better within my staircase. And I think the perspective is close, but I still have to scale again. So I'll go back Command T, and then I should be able to squish this. And then another little trick that's handy is once I've got it close, I'll hit the return key and set this layer to the opacity of 50 something percent and zoom in a little. And I can see where it's falling on the stairs. And I want it to be at the bottom here, so this little orange strip. And also the perspective is not really fitting quite right, so another change needs to happen. Edit and transform distort. I'm going to squish it in a little more. And I'm going to leave a little bit of air at the sides of the stairs so that when I want to trim the artwork, it won't actually go all the way to the edges of the stairs, which it wouldn't be able to do realistically. These stair wraps are cut more on a pre-sized template or an area that is usually a little bit smaller than the stairs themselves. So I've got that pretty close, and if I bring my artwork up to 100%, so it looks like a slide. Now the problem or challenge in doing this is, although I have this artwork laid out, if I were really going to be fitting this on the stairs, I need to take into account that the artwork is going to go from the top of the white piece to the bottom of the gray piece, skipping these darker gray parts, except for up at the top where you don't see the top of the stairs. So there may need to be some adjusting in terms of height of pieces. Again, this is a first pass. I'm going to create this a little bit taller, and then again I did Command T there, and then again I'm going to transform again with a distort, and I'm going to distort this in a little bit more, and it's a little higher than I think I might need it to be because I may need a little more area or a little less area than it actually fits in. So I'll pull it down. And stop there. Okay, so next I need to start cutting the artwork up into pieces. There are a couple of ways that you could do this. One way would be to count how many stairs you have and create an even amount of slices, or a slice, an even sized amount, or even sized slice for each piece is what I'm trying to say. Or you could just kind of go straight ahead, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to see if I can just start cutting this up or removing pieces. So as I hide and show, I'm going to create a selection here with my polygon tool for the area I want the first bit of artwork to go into, which is going to be right here on the bottom of this stair. And there's my selected area. And if I show my artwork, I can see that it's probably a little bit too distorted to work here. So what I'm thinking is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces. Coming back to my original artwork, I know it needs to be substantially smaller, so I'm going to resize this, image size, and I will bring it down to about 50% of the original size for both the width and the height. And click OK. Select all and copy it and switch over again to my stair artwork. Deselecting that stair that I'd selected and pasting again just to get an idea. Yeah, I think that's probably a good guess. Probably needs to be a little bit taller. I'd rather be shrinking the artwork than making it bigger if at all possible. All right, so I'm going to hide that layer and come back over again to the resized artwork here and zoom in on it. Now I need 11 slices to take this artwork as it is and put it on the stairs. And to gauge where those slices need to be, I'm going to use a technique. It's kind of a quick design technique with the rectangle tool, where I'm going to use rectangles to create 11 evenly sized pieces, or rectangles that I'm going to cut up. So creating the first rectangle, and again I'm using the shape tool. This is underneath the text tool, and I'm having it be on the shape setting or tool mode and a color that's not inside of the existing artwork. Once I have this rectangle here, I'm going to deselect what I had selected, and I'm going to duplicate this 11 times. So I'm going to press the Option key. If you're on a PC, you'll press the Alt key and start dragging this down so I have 2 items, or 2 squares. Let's move this up, 2 rectangles. Move it up a little bit with the arrow key on my keyboard. Move it up a hair more, and that looks good. Now I'm going to press the Option key again and drag this one down. There's 3. And now I'm going to grab all 3 of them at the same time and duplicate them. Option key, click, Option key, and click and drag. Now I have 6, and I'll position with the arrow key, and then again Option key. Now I have 9, and I'll position with the arrow keys on my keyboard, and now I will have 12. Oops, forgot to press the Option key first. Better do that. Option, click and drag. Because I only need 11. So I'm going to click away here and find the last one and actually select it and track it. I think I just tracked it. I thought my icons from yesterday, and I'll reset my icons back to small size, and control click on this item, and I'll delete that layer. Yes, I want to delete that layer. Now everything else needs to be selected, all the other rectangles, so I'll select rectangle 1 and hold the Shift key, and select rectangle 1 copy at the top so all the pieces are selected, and then Command T and stretch so that I have an easy to see group of 11 rectangles that go across the image from top to bottom, where I will begin to cut. I'll press the return key, and if your rulers aren't showing, you should go view and choose your rulers. I'll turn them off, and then I'll turn them back on again, and drop the lines from my rulers or guidelines at the slices or the places where I'm going to slice up this artwork. That one went a little bit low, so I'm going to see if I can undo that one. Here we go. And another one. And another. Placing my guidelines where I will be making my slices. I am doing it a little bit rapidly so that you're not waiting an inordinate amount of time for my perfectionist nature, but this will be close enough. A couple more. Oops, moved my document. Let's not do that. And one more. And now I have all the guidelines in place. And I can hide the rectangles, so I can just see the guides. And at this point, I'm going to use my rectangle tool to begin to cut the artwork one slice at a time. So I'm going to copy from the top slice and come over to my document and paste. Click OK. And I'm not going to worry, well, what I wanted to have copied didn't copy. So I'll undo that. Go back again to my art and make sure that I'm actually selected on the proper layer. Now I am. I was not before. So the artwork is now selected. I will copy and switch documents and paste. Click OK, and that's better. And here's the first piece. So the first piece is going to be sitting up at this top stair somewhere. And I'm going to place these in a slice at a time and try to kind of scale them all together and see how that works. They'll all be on their own layers. Switching back and making sure I'm on the marquee tool and sliding my slice selection, holding the shift key. And I'm going to copy that, switch back, paste. I think I'll stop showing that message and move over to here for my visualizing. Do the next one. Make sure I'm on the marquee tool. To move the marquee without cutting anything, holding the shift key. Copy, switch, paste, move it with the move tool. You can see already I might have some issues with the way the type is separating. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. I'm just going to pause the recording and come back when they're all cut and show you what to do next. Okay, I just have two more to go, so I'm going to press M to make sure I'm on the marquee tool and slide this selection down and copy, Command C, switch documents, Command V, press the letter V on my keyboard to get the move tool, switch back to the main artwork, press M for the marquee, move the selection down, and do the last slice copy. Copy, switch, paste. Move tool, and now I have the whole mini artwork in place in 11 slices. Now I'm going to start moving them to where they need to go near each stair, so I can see that. I'm going to select the layer and move the piece. Select the layer and move the piece. And it cannot be on the black part. It can only be on the gray-white part. That's the idea here, is that it's not on the top of the stair, but rather just in the gaps. So it's a little tricky here. So this one probably should move up. And this is a good case to turn on auto select, which I usually don't use. Auto select, which is up here, is helpful in a case like this where you really need to just be able to click on things and scoot them around into the proper places. And I'm just going to move these down like so, getting them closer. And you can see as I move up, these slices are going to have to get thinner and thinner and more distorted. So it's kind of bizarre. All right, so this is as much as I can move them, and I'm going to click on the bottom one. And with the bottom one selected, I am going to scale it, and I'm going to scale it across, but not by itself. Again, I'm going to select all the pieces, and I'm going to try a perspective on these, which is kind of tricky. So I'm going to press escape before I do this, V for move tool, and get the rest of these. Oops, didn't really want to select it like that. Click away, click on just this one. There we go. Kind of staggering these along here. So I am going to need to distort this a fair amount to make it look like it's on the stairs. And right now I'm just kind of guessing. All right, so I want to leave the gaps, and I want to kind of center these up under each other. And it's going to take a fair amount of poking around to do this. It's not a quick project, but we're getting there. Okay. So with this in place, an approximation of the elements in place, I could actually use some alignment tools to help me. So I'm going to select all the pieces all the way down and do, from my alignment tools here, I'll align everything to the left of itself. And now with everything still selected, I'm going to eyeball to center just using the arrow keys. And again, I'm going to scale and distort. So edit, transform. And I'm going to be wild here. I'm going to go right to distort first and see what happens if I start cranking away at this. Bring it down to here. So far, so good. I think this needs to choke in quite a bit. And it's already starting to look a little bit more real on the stairs. So I'm going to hit the return key. And then starting at this bottom stair here, this bottom element, I'm going to click just one, and now click just one, and here's where I want this first one. One of the tricks here is, as I said, to not make it look like it's like a slide. This piece needs to be more squared. So to do that, again, I'm going to go back to distort, edit, transform, distort, and here's where I will start fudging the edges. And I don't want it to be on the black part, but I do want it to be on the white part, because the white is the top or outside edge of the stair. So that's piece one. That's one. Move tool, move this down. And again, I'm going to transform, edit, transform, distort. Bring this over a little, and needs to come down. So the white part can be covered, but not the black part. Okay, it's starting to look like a panel on the stair here. I may have to do a little bit more weird tweaking, but that's why I like this distort option. This makes it pretty easy to squish things. Okay, next one, V is for move. Bring it down here and edit, transform, distort. You can come in, it's totally fine. So tweak away here. Move it down. Right there's the spot. Edit, distort, edit, transform, distort. And slide over. All right, so I'm going to continue to keep editing this. And one by one on each stair using transform, distort, looking to get these edges on a 90-degree angle here, and then center these items. And you can already see that probably have some resizing and some playing around with the elements to do. But in general, now you have an understanding of how to work with the original file and how to cut it up, how to slice it, and what you want to do for distorting each of these separate slices so they start to look like they're actually on the stairs. Or rather on the front part of the stairs. This one is the next one, and again, edit, transform, distort. This one looks a little weird, like it's got to be rotated a little because these stairs are worn out and everything's not really square anymore. So I'm going to rotate this down a hair. And it looks like I can rotate it a little more. On this side, just a bit. Kind of tricky. So I think I'm going to do some of this with the distort tool. I'm going to zoom in. Again, you can see it's this layer here that I'm working on. So this hide and show button is really helpful. And edit, transform, distort. And the next one, pressing the V key, which is to get the move tool. And again, I have to make sure it doesn't cover the top stair element. And I'm going to distort the next one here. Drag this over. And trying to make this edge line square. Like so. This does look a little high there. Okay. This one. Now I'm starting to see less and less of the top edge of the stair, so I need to be really careful here. I'm going to rotate this piece up. Move it up. Okay. And then distort. Should come up to the white line. Next one is this one. And rotate. And T for transform also gives me the rotate tool. And edit, transform, distort. Pull this up and over. Pull this one up and over. And straighten out this line on the edge. Turn. V for move tool. This one's going to sit right here. Command T for transform tool. Rotate down a hair. The return key, V for move tool. Tap it down a little. Edit, transform, distort. Over a little. And here's the last one going on. Command T. Rotate down a hair. The return key, V for move tool. Move it away. Come right up to the white part on the top of the stair. And then again, edit, transform, distort. So now as I'm getting this to the end of the steps on how to take the finished ad and put it on the stairs, you can also see now what might be a good idea is if I make some changes to the layout, including getting the type a little bit more in each one of these discrete stairs. This one actually seems too big, Command T. Should really just go to the top of that white line there, and now over here it's not really on the white line, so I need to distort it, edit, transform, distort, and I'm going to pull the top edge up a little. And zoom out and see where we are. So my next part would be to start moving the type around to get it more simplified and to get some of these elements in a better place to actually be more legible on the stair rep. But all in all, it does look like it's on the stairs, which is the main thing that I'm going for in this tutorial. I'm going to zoom in here, and this one work it out line looks a little odd. And V for move, and I'm going to just move it up so it comes to the top of that white line a little more. Maybe split the difference. No, just like that. And zoom out. Okay. All right, so that is how you take your existing ad and put it on the stair wrap. The next part of this would be me realigning and moving things around, and I'm actually going to take a better look at that next time we meet. So for now, this is the end of this movie, and I hope you have a better idea of how to create your stair wrap.